Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about neural networks and what that is. Neural networks are a fundamental component of artificial intelligence, AI. The machine learning inspired by the structure and function of the human brain. They are a type of computational model that is particularly well suited for tasks such as pattern recognition, classification, regression, and more. Let's take a look at some aspects of neural networks. Neurons and layers. Neural networks consist of interconnected nodes called neurons. These neurons are organized into layers, typically divided into three types: input layer, hidden layers, and output layers. I don't know how many of people watching this video have programmed anything, but if you were at any point to program anything, you will understand how you can potentially do that. Would be input, output, and how information might be stored as well as presented and perhaps hidden, if anything. This input layer receives data, the hidden layers process it, and the output layer produce network predictions. So there's another way to look at it, but either way, I don't want to make it too complex, but it's like front end and back end. So I'm like to cover everything what might be able to, or if you for people out there might be able to understand what's happened back end of development process. Weights and connections. Each connection between neurons has associated weight, which determines the state of connection. Learning in the neural networks often involves adjusting free weights to improve the network performance on a specific task. Uh, Within this video and some of these videos, perhaps I'm discussing how to build the car's engine, right? So, not necessarily I'm interested in this. I don't know, perhaps it's something that I need to know, but not necessarily that many people are interested in that. But if anything, I'm looking to understand a little bit better and perhaps share that information with other people out there. I don't know, so perhaps we will come back to drama in a bit. If we were there to understand a little bit better potentially some of those projects out there that could be developed or are being in development process, there are a lot of value in those processes, perhaps outsourcing those and when required to fulfill some of the tasks within the business. Activation functions. Neurons apply an activation function to the input to determine the output. Common activation functions include the sigmoid, ReLU, reflective linear unit, and TH and H, hyperbolic tangent. Activation function introduced non-linearly into the model, allowing it to learn complex relationships in the data. Feed-forward networks. In feed-forward neural networks, data flows in one direction from the input layer throughout the hidden layers to the output layer. These networks are used for tasks like image and speech recognition, as well as various classification tasks. Sometimes I think why I never chosen to be like I don't know, like a musician or something. I could play a guitar, something like that. That would be fun. Recurring neural networks, a type of neural network designed for a sequence of data. Their output of each step influenced not only by the current input but also by previous inputs. They are commonly used for tasks like neural language processing and time series analysis. Convolutional neural networks are specialized neural networks for processing grid-like data, such as images. They use convolutional layers to automatically learn features from the input data, making them highly effective for tasks like image classifications and object detection. It is something perhaps, if not right now, it is something that's currently in the works, in the process of how some of those AI, artificial intelligence, can recognize some of the images up there. Currently, it's in the process. There are a lot of problems. There are a lot of progress as well as a lot of problems. Some of those problems up there are very simple, where there are a lot of value and perhaps where we can outsource some of the requirements to potentially technology or software. Long short-term memory, a type of RNN designed to handle long sequence of data and address the vanishing gradient problem. They are particularly used in tasks that require the model to remember and utilize information from distant past time steps. Training and back propagation. Neural networks learn by adjusting the weight of the connections using and optimizing algorithms such as gradient descent, back propagation in the key techniques used to compute the gradient of a network errors with respect to its weight, allowing weight updates that minimize the errors. If anything, there would be key points, right? So myself, perhaps if I'm learning about it just now, it's very hard to understand. So what it actually is trying to understand, some of the software need to understand what data points are important, why they are important, what would be those key areas. Just something that I like to cover with this within this video as well. And the software need to understand key areas, what to pick up on when looking at the image, as well as how to process those key areas. Applications. Neural networks have a wide range of applications, including image and video analysis, speech recognition, natural language processing, automation of vehicles. Whatever case might be, ones that you might be able to see on the street, as well as perhaps in the future. It's just funny. I guess it's just funny. I wish I could discuss some of the projects that I'm doing, but I couldn't do that. Healthcare diagnostics, financial forecasting, and many more. Challenges. Training deep neural networks can be computationally expensive and require a large amount of labeled data. Overfitting, where the network performs well on the training data but poorly on the new unseen data. It's common challenge. Regulation techniques and data augmentation are often used to mitigate these issues. Right. So just depending on what kind of data you're feeding and how currently some of the challenges that they do have in processing that data and how they're looking to overcome those challenges within the space. People out there who are interested in learning more, I have published a journal. Within this journal, I'm focusing a lot on developing habits. Within these habits, I'm focusing on how long you should perform some of the tasks highlighted in this journal. So those tasks would last. Hopefully, you would stick with this journal, working your way from cover to cover and developing those habits. Some of those habits that I'm looking to help you to develop would be perhaps time management. When it comes to time management, it would be some of those areas which I personally believe are important. If you were to focus on 24 hours and optimizing 24 hours, what would be the areas that would be important for you? Perhaps if it's something that you would focus on, progressing over long period of time, that perhaps 10, 20 years from now, 24 hours, optimizing that as well as free things to do that you can accomplish every single day, as many as all the other areas that I highlighted within this journal. You can find it in the description below as well as top details. Neural networks have made significant contributions to the field of artificial intelligence, enabling the development of advanced and sophisticated machine learning models for a wide area of tasks. Even right now, some of the software that I'm using day-to-day basis, some of those software application models are able to understand what they're seeing in an image. So if I would perform any particular gesture, that software would understand what I would like for this video to do. So it's just in takeaways, as well as we constantly being monitored, whatever case might be. Voices being recorded, images being recorded, some of the information that we are sharing, sending email, those emails being recorded, and some of the people how will be able to scramble perhaps that information and use to train particular models. So it's just something worth mentioning, as well as recognize what's happening in the first place. If perhaps on the street, if there's cameras there, those cameras will be able to record people wearing seatbelts or putting themselves in danger, and perhaps worth taking notice of that. Perhaps walking across the street, if the person walking in a straight line, as well as some of the obstacles there. Within the different countries, how many cameras for people out there might be worth taking a look up there, as well as some of the functions that those cameras not listed right now, perhaps if not already. If you're not reading the newspapers, not already, perhaps in the future, what kind of tasks, depending on different governments, who are taking action to monitor populations and taking control of those people, are taking into effect. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.